Well, here we are. Look at that. Hey, girl. We'll see if we get anybody in here. Hey, Liz, thanks for stopping back in. I'm back. I'll let some folks get back in here before we get going again. I apologize. It looks like my router restarted for some reason. So we'll give it a second here. So what I've done here, which probably looks no different on your guys' end, is I have gone live for the first time through the YouTube studio instead of through StreamYard. I've never done that before, but I figured, hey, I'll try it. I've got 1,000 subs. So thank you guys for tuning in. I see Liz is in the house. Greenwell's back. Dale Hayes, so that's the cool guy. Rustic Outdoors, Catfishing with Cost. Justin's Fishing Fetish made it back. Kelly Bullock's in the house. And Ryan Bortz. What's up, Ryan? So we'll give it just a second here, let a couple more people get in, and I'm going to continue on with the safety talk tonight. And so I've got a lot more stuff to cover, and hopefully at some point somebody takes something away from it. I just realized that I can't bring up a guest. Well, I don't think I can. I've never gone through the settings, details, blah, blah, blah. Never gone through it here, so we're just going to let her rip tater chip. Apologize. As I said, I opened it back up under YouTube instead of StreamYard. I didn't realize that. I forgot that by doing that I wouldn't be able to bring a guest up. So we're going to carry on as we like to do. The show must go on, and we're almost at 9 o'clock already, but I still got a lot of stuff to go over. So if you guys are willing to listen to me ramble on about some safety stuff, then yeah, I just realized that, Ryan. I had never used the YouTube studio before, and I thought it was StreamYard acting silly, so I opened up this, and then I realized what it was. It was my router had restarted. Because I don't have internet here at my house, I have to use a AT&T hotspot and stream off of it. So we're going to continue on. We've got looks like 18 people in the house, so hopefully people find their way back over. If not, they'll find the. I know, Scott. I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to. It wasn't by choice. Not by choice. Get this camera kind of pointing the right direction. It's got a different angle camera view than what the other one has. So, all right, we'll get back started here. Looks like we got some folks find their way back over. So thank you guys for being patient with me. So we're gonna get back at it. So I can't remember where we left at, but here's some things that I do want to talk about. Is safety pretty much at the boat ramp. So this time of year, it's easy for the boat ramps to freeze over, and you don't have to have snow and any of that. You have completely fine weather. But if somebody puts their boat in and pulls out before you get there, all that water on the concrete is possible to freeze. So basically, I would suggest if you're in part of the country that is experiencing cold weather and icing and freezing, below freezing temperatures, I would recommend start carrying a shovel with you in case you have to scrape something off, and then definitely some salt or sand, whichever you prefer. That way you don't find yourself sliding into the water or not be able to, just putting yourself in a bad situation. Think ahead a little bit and get that salt. Go ahead and get that shovel in your truck or in your boat if you're not, maybe you're pulling with an SUV or something, but have that stuff with you. Savages trying to take over. What? Kayak need to keep the light on their kayak. kayak need to keep the light on their kayak. Yeah, lights is actually one of the next topics, but definitely, having lights on, make sure people can see you. Light yourself up. If you can get, better lighting than with the minimum requirement, then go for it. The brighter you are, the more likely people are to see you, and the safer you will be. So obviously, keep the light under control to where you're not blinding yourself, but make yourself as visible as possible. Not only the blue lights all the way around the boat look cool, but they make it a little bit safer on yourself. So Clearview Outdoors says, I was still waiting. Well, I appreciate the folks that were being so patient at the other stream, but I tried to jump on my phone to go through my phone. And when I did, it connected, but I was on my phone and the computer kicked on at the same time. And I hit leave on my phone, and that shut the whole stream down and shut it off. And you can't reopen it. You got to start a new one. Anyway, don't forget the anchor light. Absolutely. So salt, sand, or shovel. If you're in cold climate, keep yourself safe at the boat ramp. We talked about life jackets and how they could also be used for insulation. Another thing to talk about is the electric heated jackets. So I know that, there's always a name brand war out there between, Milwaukee, DeWalt, and all the other makes and models of electric heated jackets that are out there. I don't have one yet, but it is definitely on my to get list. And the way I justify that purchase is you could wear less clothing and be less bulky. And when you're bulky, your agility goes down the tubes as far as being able to move and maneuver and react quickly in a boat. So these electric jackets you can wear will give you the same warmth as the big bulky coats will, but you'll save down on the bulk of your body and your restraint and movement. So if you've never thought about, I have no agility to start with. All right, Chad, then you definitely need an electric jacket, because once you get all dressed up like the abominable snowman, you're gonna look like the kid in the Christmas Story. So we don't want that, Chad. We love you. We gotta make sure you can be safe out there. V3, what's up, Van? What's going on? Me and my brother, Quiet Man Curtis, almost ran over a kayak at Hoover with no lights on under the bridge. Yeah, that I've actually ran into several situations on Hoover with no lights. I had a bass boat come across the water on his big motor. As a black boat in the complete darkness with not a single light on, nothing. I think I saw a light on the trolling motor. That's it. So crazy. Sure, you guys got your lights on. Red and green on the bow, white all around light. The blasted blue and black lights around the boat make the actual red and green and white hard to see, so you can't tell what direction the boat is moving. Yeah, that's a genuine concern. For me, I got the blue lights on the very back of the boat, the bright ones to shine up on the rods. I do have LED strips down each side, but my red and green are LED strips up front. And I've taken a far step back view of what you can and can't see. But what you can and can't see, and I can see mine really well. So, but if you're using like small, the normal lighting, that might not be enough. So, can you talk about how important it is to not hook other poles in the boat when you're casting out your poles? Yeah. So yesterday we kind of experienced J-Dog was trying to cast, and he snagged one of my rods and about threw my rod in the water. Luckily, my lightning fast reflexes preventing such a catastrophe. But no, that's not what happened. I snagged his rod. But I did redeem myself yesterday when one of the Uncle Lou's rods with a new reel went off the back of the boat and into the river. And unlike Chad, he didn't invite me to go fishing with him. the first cast, I was able to drag and retrieve that Uncle Lou's rod with the Ancient Mariner reel on it. So I did make one bad cast, and I snagged a rod, but I also made one fantastic cast and saved a rod. So I think I'm still coming out ahead. Jay Gold, that's never happened on my boat. Skip, I don't even. Skip snagged my rod, flung it all the way over top of the boat and into the water on a freezing cold day. And it was so cold that I couldn't even wind in the reel. It froze that fast, the water inside. So it happens. Anyway, we'll get back on track. We were talking about electric jackets. We'll move on from that. The next thing, I think Uncle Lou just said it. Tell somebody where you are. Always make sure someone knows that stretch of the river or lake you'll be at. So yeah, Uncle Lou's like, he's got some like ESPN or something. He knew what I was going to say. But let somebody know where you're at. There's actually I know I'm on this screen. I can't share screens to do nothing. I shouldn't have done this. I'll post this link on my Facebook page, the Muskrat Adventure page. So if you're not already a member of Muskrat Adventures Facebook page, please check it out. But there is a U.S. Department of Homeland Security. It's called a float plan central. And basically what it is it's just a Adobe Reader file that you can load up, and you can tell whoever you want. You can send it to whoever. You can send it and let them know, hey, I'm going to be fishing, for like me, I'm going to be fishing between Greenup Dam and daggone it. I forgot the name of my marina. I'll be fishing between there and Portsmouth. And I got to get off the water today at 2:00. And so if you don't hear from me by after 2:00, this is my make and model of the vehicle. It's actually a very cool document. I just found it doing research for this show. And so I thought it was really cool. Chad says, you live 80 hours away, Jody. Had I known you were coming up this way for days, I would have. Yeah, she just didn't want you to know. I'm just kidding. I just invited myself. I found out she was coming. The thermo wraps for your back, they will keep the core. Yeah, that's a great one there from James Smith. If you can get the thermo wraps or the back heating pads for your back, that much like the ones you put on your feet, you can put those back on your back over your kidneys. And obviously all your blood flows through your kidneys, and you keep that part of your body warm, then you should be able to better maintain your core body temperature and keep you safe. So that's a good one. I actually didn't have that one written down. I'll tell somebody where you're going. Lights on. Communication devices. So we've all got the cell phones pretty much nowadays. Everyone's got a cell phone. Most of them work most of the time. There's always places that they don't work, as we all experience through live streaming. It always seems like the best place to fish has no service. It's just the way it is. Those remote locations and things. I got eyelashes here, guys. I'm sorry. It's bugging the tar out of me. But those locations, but they're VHF radios, which, it makes it sound like, well, that's just some old pirate stuff there. Who uses that? Actually, a lot of people still use that, especially communicating between the barges. You can find out what your locks, what channel they are on, and you can kind of, be on the heads up. And also, if you're in a situation where you're in danger and you need help, you can use that radio to get to someone. So that old school technology may be your best bet when the new school technology just won't cut it. This time of year is a good idea to remember that your hands are probably colder than you realize. So cutting stuff, casting, etc., can become more dangerous than you realize. As Chad experienced this last week, and his hands were cold and wet. From what I understand, through the casting motion, either a backlash kind of popped and jerked the rod out of his hand or something hooked and snagged. I'm not sure, but something happened, and just the cold feel in your fingers and the wet slipperiness allowed that rod to go sailing. I did scan all over looking for that rod, though, by the way. I wasn't going to give it back. I was going to give it back. But definitely, take care of your hands. There's lots of different things to do that with. Gloves are always good. I like mittens as well. Of course, mittens inside, keep all your fingers together and more likely to be able to keep them warm. And then you keep a hot hands pack in that mitten. And believe it or not, you actually have a lot more dexterity than you think in mittens when it comes to, picking up a rod and even reeling. You can fight a fish with mittens on and not take them off. But if you don't want to do that, you also got the little like Fanny Packs that go on your, that go around your waist. It's kind of like what the football players have. Most of them are behind their back. They slide your hands in and keep your hands warm while you're out there. You grab a floating handled VHF for $100, cheap for the peace of mind it provides. Yeah, absolutely, right there. You can grab a floating handheld VHF for $100. So, just at some point you got to worry. You got, like we talked in the beginning of the show, you've got to put your safety first. You're the only one in charge of it. And when it comes to money, what's too much and what's not too much. Tom had a good one. Let's see. Let me go back up. I would like to design a heated reel seat for my rods. I don't know if that one was it. I think this is it. If your boat is not equipped with a ladder, there we go. Yep, that's on the list too. You guys are good. See, I had faith in you guys. Plan your hunt, and your hunt plan works with the same with fishing. Oh yeah, Whiskering Dreams, absolutely. Yeah, if you don't have a ladder, which I actually just talked to somebody about this the other day. If you don't have a ladder or a way to get in your boat, so a lot of boats, have a ladder, step on the back of the boat built in. I know most trackers do. Sea Arc does, but my boat does not. And luckily, my only means of getting back in the boat, and in most cases, I would suggest climbing up on the back of the motor and then trimming the motor and tilting yourself and making it easier for you to get back into the boat. But they make these ladders that just hang over the side of the boat. So if you think about it, like a candy cane, basically comes up and over the side of the boat and hooks on and has a ladder on the outside of the boat. Zach actually had an extra ladder from an old boat of his that works perfect on my boat. And so we've got that ladder in the boat now, so that if for any reason somebody goes in, I don't care what kind of shape you're in, you get in cold water and you got some clothes on, you're going to have a hard time. I can be in the dead of summer and have a hard time just because I'm out of shape. So me getting back in the boat's going to be a task no matter what. I can't pull my butt up over the side like I should be able to. But, the ladder is definitely a great investment to have, and the thing is practice it. Make sure that it's suitable. Don't just throw a ladder in your boat and think that you're good. And the first time you go to use it, it breaks, busts, or it just, folds up under the boat or something crazy. Actually practice using it in the warmer temperatures at some point to make sure that in a dangerous situation, it's going to do the job that you expect it to do. So, try that stuff out, try that safety gear out when it is, I can cross that off the list. Fire extinguishers. I know that we're talking about cold and we're thinking about being cold and wet, but if you have a fire on that boat, and I know that's always required, but how often do you check it to make sure that it's charged properly and to make sure that it would do the job you need it to do in the event that you need it? Because I've never experienced a fire on the boat, but I could tell you this last year at Fishing for Freedom, me and my buddy Herb and our veteran that we took out, we were loading the boat up and somebody was at the fueling station. And I don't have an inboard boat, but apparently you know that on most inboards, when you're filling up, there's a fan or a vent you have to open to allow the fumes to escape. And these people did not do that, and the boat caught on fire. And I'm telling you, within 20 minutes, that boat was burnt completely gone. I don't think it even took 20 minutes, but probably 10, 15 minutes. I took a little bit of video on it to try to make a point, but yeah, super scary fire on the boat. So make sure that you guys, Roger, I smashed the thumb, needed a new one in PayPal. I'm not sure what that means. I need a thumbs up in PayPal. I'll take a thumbs up anywhere, especially from John Euler. What's up, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. Fire extinguishers expired. The date is on the bottom. Yeah, there you go. There are rechargeable ones. There are ones that automatically expire over time. So, throwing one in the boat to make sure you're legal and having one in the boat that's going to be proper to do what it needs to do in the time of emergency. I know they ain't cheap, but again, how much is your life worth? How much is your boat worth if you don't even value your life well enough? But don't put yourself or somebody else's life in danger because we don't want to go spend the extra money to get a proper fire extinguisher. When I was looking at fire extinguishers for boats, it recommended a tri-class chemical. So I'm not sure what tri-class chemical means, but it sounded important. So make sure you do the research and get the proper fire extinguisher that meets your needs. Because I'm not sure what the differences are, to be completely honest with you. Rustic said, I just realized I don't have a J-Dog pole in my boat. Leather fleece lined mittens, oversized with a pair of knit gloves. Papaw Ed. Yep, that sounds like a great combination. Leather fleece lined mittens, oversized with a pair of knit gloves. Yep. Yeah, and same with the base layers, multiple layers. When it comes to feet and clothing, allows wicking. Because once you sweat, if you get sweat and you get wet sweat, got me running like a turbo vet. Oh wait, let's not do that. And remember, the most important thing of tonight, and I can say this enough, always have a J-Dog pup. J-Dog. You made me scroll way back up here for that. I just heard the rain just cut loose here. It's pouring down rain. I check my fire extinguisher a lot every time I have been stopped by DNR. They make me spray the extinguisher. Wow. I have actually never been stopped and checked. I have one on the boat, but I've never been stopped and checked. Chucky says, when it concerns your life, safety, and well-being of your health, any money that you spend is not too much. Chucky, I couldn't agree more, man. It's not fun money to spend. There's always these things we'd rather have. And, even just like tonight, talking about safety, it's not the funnest topic in the world. We'd all love to be exploring, how to catch monster catfish in the winter, or listening to Tim Scott give us some science that just blow our minds. But meaning I damaged your thumbs up by smashing it. I paid damage. Oh, John, thank you so much. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. It helps out more than you know right now. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. If you guys have been enjoying the show, you hit some thumbs up. Looks like that is one cool thing about the StreamYard. It gives me a live count. We got 41 people hanging out in chat. We got 24 thumbs up. Let's see if we can even that up a little bit. Baby got back. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I should not sing ever. It's not just my life. It's my brother, Quietman Curtis, is always with me. Yeah, that's awesome. Not only is that great that brothers are be able to spend that much time together. Me and my brother can't spend that much time together. I don't think we'd kill each other at some point. But so it's actually safer we don't. But yeah, like you said, it's your life. You're putting on the lines, the life of people in your boat. and then affecting the lives of all the people that would miss you, should something bad happen to you. So even if you don't take the safety stuff and purchase the required items you need to keep yourself safe out there, do it for the people that love you. I'm sure somebody loves you. Yeah, well, somebody even loves Chad. Poor D. Love you, buddy. You should think of safety for others out on the water as well. Yeah, great point. Being aware of your surroundings is on here. Make sure you are aware of your surroundings. And that leads me to another topic here that I'll talk about. And I think at one point in time, I mentioned this app. And the app itself, honestly, I feel like you're better off without it than with it, because it gives you a false sense of security. And that app is called Find Ship. And this app was designed to allow you to look on the waterways and see what barges are in your area. It would even tell you which way they're traveling and at what speed. So you can look at a barge and tell that, hey, it's sitting still, not coming my way. And it does work sometimes. But just as soon as you trust it and think there's no barges coming, there's a barge. We've tested it several times. We've seen a barge pass us by, and then we pull up the app, and they didn't show a barge. So never, ever put your faith into this app fully. It doesn't tell you there's a barge there if there's not a barge there, but on several occasions, it has not told us there is a barge that is actually there. So in my opinion, Find Ship is more dangerous than it is helpful. And I think at one point in time, I recommended it because I didn't realize that it was that bad or that inaccurate. I won't say it never works, because it does, but I find it more dangerous to give you a false sense of security than it's worth. What if nobody loves you, Roger? I'm asking for J-Dog. That's just cruel. That's just cruel. I don't know why he did that. I might cry. He's trying to make fun of me because I'm single now. Nobody loves me. Anyway, get back on track. Always have flares on board. Tom's full of it tonight, man. He's got a lot of good stuff. Tom, thanks for adding a lot of value to tonight's show. I appreciate that. Asking if Jody made it. Bye, Chad. I never knew. Bye, Chad. I never knew. You're welcome. You'll know me one day, J-Dog. Oh, boy. I don't need to worry about barges, only ugly people. You don't have to avoid all ugly people. Some of those barges kick up 7 to 8 foot waves. Just give them barges plenty of room. Yeah, Rustic, that's a great point. Some barges, depends on the area you're in. Us on the Ohio River, our locks will only hold 15 barges at a time. So they go 3 wide and 5 long, including the tug. That's all they can handle. But I've been on the Mississippi and seen like giant ones coming down through there. Or I've seen of giant ones going down through there. I don't think I've ever seen it actually myself in the area I fished. But yeah, the barges can be very dangerous. I'll tell you another story here real quick. And unfortunately, because I went into studio instead of StreamYard, which I realize now I don't like it. So I'll share another story because I was hoping everyone could share some stories. But talk about barges. I was fishing at the end of a lock wall, and I was on the proper side. I had an anchor up above and had let enough rope out to come past the end of the wall. The barge was in the lock. First times I was fishing around the dams. I didn't know what all those horns and toots and beeps meant and sirens and stuff. I didn't know what any of it meant. Well, they signaled for the barge to come out, and he was 15. He was 5 long. And when they're coming out of there, they're very slow. They come out of there, at an idle. Well, when that thing's 15 barges back, even when they're full speed, there's sometimes the front of that front barge, you can barely hear it. We were sitting at the end of that wall, and the barges came out. And next thing I know, I looked straight up in the air, and it was empty. And you know how high they sit when they're empty. That barge was coming out right next to me. I mean, right now. My boat started swaying back and forth real bad, and I thought we was going to get sucked into it. At the time, I had rods sticking straight out the sides of the boat. There we go. Sticking out the side of the boat, and my rods that were on the starboard side were sliding, grinding down the side of the barge, like nails on a chalkboard, sliding down the barge. I freaked out. I started the motor, and I floored it, went forward. All I did was I only made it 20 feet, and I sucked up my anchor rope. And when I sucked up my anchor rope, the boat spun around, and the anchor drug a little bit, and we were swaying violently back and forth next to the end of the lock wall as the barge was going by. And there was guys up there with spotlights. You can hear them on the radio yelling. There's guys down here. And to this day, it is the most scared I've ever been in my life when it comes to anything. I mean, I've been in some car wrecks, and I've been in some bad situations. And that will win hands down until something worse happens as the scariest moment of my life. So be careful when you're fishing them lock walls. Do not put yourself out past surrounding in, and just be very cautious of when they could be letting a barge through. He couldn't see me, and I couldn't see him, and I couldn't hear him. And the next thing I know, he was on top of me, almost literally. So that's a scary, scary situation. Justin has a story about a barge. Well, unfortunately, I can't bring you on stream, Justin, to share it. So you have to keep that one to yourself. Barges and fog, he gets all nervous. Okay, and my son will be 40. Of course, I was 6 years old when he was what? Anyone over 25 can't call me Mama Joy. I'm your sis in public. There you go. But you never asked me to come fish on your boat. I don't know if you're talking to me, Eric, or if I missed something. If you're current with undertows, might be a good idea to tie a rope to yourself. If you're diving in to save a buddy, I've heard about two guys drowning at once trying to save the other. What do you think, Roger? Buck, I'll be honest with you. I really don't know in that situation. I don't know that. My worry is, and fast current, you couldn't pull yourself back up because of that rope. If you got that much current, maybe in light current, and like you're talking about undertow, I don't know. It doesn't sound like a bad idea. It sounds like at least I'll find my body pretty close. But no, you might be able to pull yourself back to safety. You try to help somebody, like you said, two people drown because one was trying to tell the other, trying to save the other. I was reading chat as I was talking. I can't do two things at once. So it might not be a bad idea. That's one advantage of spot lock over an anchor. If you are fishing a sketchy spot, you can roll out quick. Absolutely. I love spot lock. In the wintertime, when we get up and get flood waters, we still try to look for lesser current areas to fish. But unfortunately, a lot of times that's still too much current and we'll have to use an anchor. I believe 100% in an anchor buoy ball. If you don't know what that is, or you haven't decided to make a purchase for one, they'll save your back. And two, you could just throw, if you're in a dangerous situation, you could throw all your rope overboard and get out of the way. And that anchor and your buoy ball will stay there. Make sure at the very end of your rope, there's a big knot or have something tied that cannot slip through. But just, the anchor buoy ball pulls the anchor for you, pulls it all the way up to the top of the water. And all you have to do is lift the anchor into the boat. That's it. That's all you got to. Roger tried many times to teach me. I'm slow to learn. That's all right, J-Dog. We was out yesterday with J-Dog, and I was able to show him how a buoy ball works. I took my anchor and buoy ball down there with us, and just kind of showed him what the advantages of it and how it works. And in my opinion, if you're fishing current, you're fishing river, it's about $40 or $50 investment total by the time you buy the buoy ball itself and the plastic clevis that slides up and down the rope. But again, we're talking about safety. We're talking about your back. pulling a 20-pound anchor out of 50 foot of water is not fun. My boat is too small for the Ohio River. You don't want to get near anyone drowning. There's a spot. My boat is too small for the river. Yeah, and again, whatever you're comfortable with, that's your limit. If you know your boat, you're not comfortable with your boat on the river, it's best that you not be out there. I would be pretty comfortable on just about any boat at certain times of the year, but not right now. Let's see. Another thing to keep in mind is make sure everybody on the boat, or at least somebody else on the boat, can drive the boat. You being the only person knows how to operate the boat is dangerous. If something happens to you, you have no way of getting back to the ramp. If you go overboard, somebody that can start the boat and come down and get you back on the boat. But if you have all this safety gear, you got the ladders, you got ropes, you got throw cushion and all that. That don't mean squat if they're sitting there on anchor and they don't know how to get off, or they're on spot lock and they don't know how to run the trolling motor. So making sure that the other person in your boat, put somebody in there that you trust, or that, you give them a crash course on, hey, this is where things are. This is how you do things, if something would happen. And it seems kind of silly, but it just may save the day sometimes. So we was out yesterday. Tara knows how to run the boat. She can start that thing up and run it just as good as any of us. It's the same Pontoon Jody. She was down there. How she takes her own boat out and puts it in the water, runs her boat around, fishes by herself, loads her boat back up, and drives it back home. So, there's not a lot of females out there that got that capability. So think about that when you're voting for your female angler of the year. You got Tara in here. She catches big fish, and she knows what she's doing. She's got some skill on the water. J-Dog very seldom, if ever, goes out on the water without her. And so she's learned a lot, and she's, got a lot of trust in her as well. So I was pretty fortunate to be out on the river yesterday with folks that all knew what they were doing. They all had, great mindset and a drive to catch fish. I don't think Tara wasn't giving up anytime soon. Her and Jody were like, we can fish all night. It's like, all right, we're done. The only thing worse than fishing for 12 hours and catching one fish is fishing for 13 hours and only catching one fish. So you only have a 5 horsepower motor on it. Yeah, you don't want to be out on the river. We don't want to be. We'll get you out on the river. We'll get you out on the river one of these days. Roger, will you teach me how to drive a boat? Justin, you know how to drive a boat. You know your way around my boat just as well as I do. Justin and I was able to get together and finally get some crappie fishing in. Freddie has been stirring the pot a little bit. On a while back, we just got hit with some super chats, and it was great. It was a great event, but I think Freddie dropped a super chat in there and said this is to take Justin crappie fishing, because he wanted to crappie fish. Every time we go up to Hoover, all I want to do is catch catfish, and he wants to try to catch crappie. And I like to catch the biggest fish in the water. But he wanted crappie fish. So anyway, we finally got out and did some crappie fishing. They weren't on fire, but we did catch fish. We ended up bringing home, it was actually 14. I thought it was 15. We got 14 nice sized crappie. And we also was able to catch some bait and spend some time on the water, man. It's crazy temperatures what we're having right now. Make the best out of them, make a memory. Get out there and do what you love to do. There's fish being caught. J-Dog said, how'd that $1,000 fish finder work out yesterday? Hey, it worked fine. We found fish. I found fish. We marked fish. We set up on the fish. We presented fresh baits to them. We did everything we were supposed to do. They just didn't fulfill their end of the bargain. They didn't bite. Even if you don't find fish, you accidentally, we moved every 30 to 45 minutes. We moved every 30 to 45 minutes. I made sure of it. And we got just a couple bites throughout the day and one hookup. Got one little Bluecat to show for the effort. So the fish just weren't in a biting mood. The barometer was okay. The river was coming up, but it wasn't coming up fast. It is now, but it wasn't. See who else. I just seen Big Mike show up and Pat with Real Beast. What's going on, fellas? Thank you for stopping in. I think I've got everybody up until there. Dave Smith, I think I got you earlier, but we'll say it again. So make sure if somebody can drive that boat. We already talked about that, and we talked about that. So the only thing left I really had to talk about was, like, there's a whole bunch more we could talk about with safety. We could continue to go on and on, but for what I had written down for tonight, that was pretty much the gist of it. And but a lot of some things I like to do in the wintertime, things slow down. We're still fishing pretty hard right now. Zach actually does a very good job keeping a log of how many fish we catch throughout the year, basically on his boat. And January is one of either the second or the third highest fish catching months we had last year. January, most fish caught. I believe September was the highest. I think there was 162 fish or something like that caught in just August, and in January we had like 120 fish caught in January. So we still do a lot of fishing come January. Now, when things slow down real cold in February and March, that's when we start doing some of these things here, which is, a show I did last year called a winter checklist. And a couple of things I remember from that show was checking your bearings, not your head. It's like I see Justin's in here. His bearings are all messed up. Even if you are catching fish, Roger will move on you. What? Whatever. He says the fish are on my side of the boat. And then I turned the boat around to try to put him on him. He couldn't catch him. I don't know. I got to quit leaning up against this desk. It shakes the whole camera. Zach's fishes more than anyone I know. Yep, I agree with that statement. He fishes more than anybody I know. He's in a very fortunate position where he gets let me see. It's not giving me the time. It doesn't show me the time there, Tom. Let me scroll back up here real quick and try to get it. If it's not too long, have you put it in there? We're going to look for a long message. I think I see it. If you wear an inflatable vest, spend the extra money and get the auto inflate vest. A pull cord is useless if you're knocked out. Very, very good point. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about those inflatable vests and how the M and the AM does not stand for medium or any of that stuff. The M stands for manual, which is the pull string. You have to be conscious and you have to be alert in order to pull your pull cord to inflate your vest. And AM means automatic or manual. So the AM is going to cost a little bit more money, but it has the dissolvable tablet in there that if it gets wet and it hits your, you go in the water, that thing dissolves pretty quick, and it allows the puncture to CO2 cartridge, and that's what inflates your life vest. If I'll tell you from my experience, if that gets wet for any other reason, even out in the rain, or Zach has had it happen twice. I think he's had it in the storage boxes on the boat and been power washing and get them super wet. They'll inflate then too. And the only thing you could do then is replace the CO2 cartridge. But great point right there. Earlier in the show, we talked a little bit about life vests and being in the cold of the year. I find it more beneficial to wear the traditional style life vests with the foam. Find the ones that's got like the neoprene on the outside, the flexible foam. A lot of people prefer the kayak style life vests, and the foam is an insulation. It will keep you warm and it will keep you safe, and you don't have to rely on anything mechanical or being in super cold conditions. You pull the cord and it goes to blow up, and that plastic cracks or gets a hole in it because it's too cold. So dang, you got kicked out. I'm sorry, Brenda. I'm glad you found your way back. No worries. I'm big, so I'd float. Pat, you go in freezing cold water. I know it don't get real cold down there, but your water gets 40 degrees. That's cold. Roger Brown says, hey, Muskrat, enjoy your shows. How's it going? Hey, Roger, thank you so much for that. I'm doing good. Trying to get back on the water. My boat is up and running again. I've still got a couple things to work out on it, but she fires right up and runs good. And it's got some linkage issues. I've got to get worked out, but I think I'm underway. You'll be seeing me and the Muskrat more often, and with that comes new guests. I love taking people out and showing them around the waters. I like taking people out and teaching them things. It's one of the things I truly enjoy. One of the reasons I do this show every Tuesday night is I hope that something I share benefits somebody. Even if it's just one person leaves tonight and says, yeah, I never thought about that, or whatever the case may be. Or, I love the idea of helping people out. And, if I can help somebody learn something or teach something either through the show or taking them out on the water and showing them things, it's truly what I enjoy doing. It really, a lot of self-gratification for myself when I can help somebody. So I appreciate that comment. That makes doing this stuff worthwhile. If you're a content creator, hey, there's Mark Catfish and Crappie. He's a content creator. He knows all about this. You dedicate a lot of Mike. He's there all the time. You dedicate a lot of time to getting a show together, especially when you dedicate one day of the week to be here and to be here on time and all that stuff and put content together. When you get cool comments and feedback, either to a video or to these live streams, it's just a little bit that helps make it worth it. It helps justify the time and the I guess you say the commitment it takes to be here every week. Hats off to Lyle, longest running show in the game as far as catfish world goes. 7 years. Monday nights at 8:00. I mean, it gives you a lot of insight on what kind of person he is to have that kind of dedication and commitment and to be there all the time. I've been doing this a little over a year on the live stream, so it's a lot of shows. Brad's in the house. What's up, Brad? Tidal weights. I'm going to have to get a hold of Brad. I lost some 12-ounce sinkers yesterday, and those are during the wintertime right now. Those are my favorite, the 12-ouncers, and I've only got a couple left. So if I seen that Mark Catfish and Crappie posted on his Facebook page today, he got some dragon weights from Tidal Weights as well. So if you're interested in sinkers, and I'll say it again because we're on the topic. Brad uses a mold that is a little bit different than most of your do-it molds and most of the places you buy from. His molds are more flat and more pancake shaped than most of the others. And you think, well, why does that make a difference? Well, the flatter that is, the flatter it lays to the bottom of the, I got 50 of the 12 and 50 16-ounce sitting. All right, I'll have to get with you and we'll just have to get together and fish. Shipping those things has got to be silly. But Brad's weights are super shiny, cool. The reason they're shiny is because of the quality of lead that he uses. The lead that he uses must be pure. I melt my own lead. I have melted my own lead for a time. And, when you get the good soft lead, it's true to its weight, and they're pretty for a while. But his sinkers are flatter. I showed it on a live stream, but like his 8-ounce sinker being this, or a normal 8-ounce sinker being this big, and his 8-ounce sinker being this big. But when they lay on the bottom, this one's like this thick, and his is like this thick. There's less resistance. You actually can get away with less weight and get the same performance out of it. So something to think about. Brad's weights, they're not just the same run-of-the-mill, same thing you can get anywhere else. They are different. Brad's sinkers are flawless. Yeah, a lot of it has to do with your ingots, how clean, the cleaning process, whether you flux or not. There's a lot of tricks to it, but getting it down real clean, it helps out a lot. You're starting with clean lead, and it really helps. If you start with something that's got a lot of tin and stuff in it, that doesn't work out as well. Mark, she's driving, but in the background, I missed it. He must be, there you go. I'm ordering tomorrow. Says catfishing with cost. Oh, Brad just said it too. It's how it's cleaned. Yeah. So how it's cleaned. So, Mark, we're buddies again. I need more already. See, yeah, Real B says he's go through a lot of lead, and when you got a contact like Brad here that makes really good weights and they're affordable, you can continue doing what you love. People not throwing something because they're like, oh man, that's which I did. I hooked up my last 12-ounce sinker yesterday. I was like, man, I hope I don't lose this. I lost 3 yesterday. I was like, dang it. But that's what happens. We set up a fishing structure and we want to make sure that, we're right down there amongst them. I have a 15-pound on its way from Brad. There you go, Whisker and Dreams. Spin structure, especially when fishing structure or wood. Yeah, for me, if I'm throwing, which I didn't do much yesterday, I had a rig, but I didn't really throw it. Was a 3-way rig with a lighter sinker line to break away if I get hung up, or if I catch a fish. I don't want my sinker to get hung up and prevent me catching the fish. I'd rather my sinker break away. Unfortunately, it leaves me needing sinkers. Spark plugs do well too. They do not do well. I won't lie and say I never used a spark plug when I was using chicken liver and pantyhose trying to catch channel cats, but no. I've got a 5-gallon bucket of lead I need to get to Brad. Holy moly. That's a lot of lead. You're actually probably not too far away from Brad. I don't think. That's what we used to do. We used to trade lead. If I gave a guy 5 gallons, he got 2.5, whatever the poundage was. He'd get half back, and I'd get half back for him making them. Order from Brad, and I am set for next season. Holy cow. So Mark is all set up, and he got some of the dragon weights that Brad's got coming out. I didn't even realize he made dragon weights, so now I've got to get some of those because you guys know how much I like to drag and pull boards. That's actually outside of bumping, it's my favorite way to fish is dragging. I love dragging the bottom. I think you was using me for my good looks, Mark. J-Dog, nobody's using you for your looks. I'm sorry. Okay, let me see if I get back on track. So, things you can check on. Things are getting slow for you. Is like I said, your bearings. Double check your bearings, especially in the cold. Have a bearing go out. We actually had a loose bearing yesterday on the trailer. And J-Dog was quick to get it straightened out for us and get us pulled out of the water. We was able to trailer on down the road and go to a different location and fish the Licking River. But when it gets super cold, you get a bearing freeze up or lock up on you or spin off. You don't want to be out there messing with that in the cold winter day. You want to take care of that when you can so that you're not sitting on the side of the road. I need to find some lead. Good luck. It's not easy. Let's see. One of the other things, if you're using spot lock and you're using a trolling motor in the cold, one of the things that I was told, and I know Zach does it too. I think he uses just some other different type of synthetic. But if you take a rag and spray it down with WD-40 and rub that up and down your shaft, rub it on the shaft of the trolling motor. It will prevent water from gathering on the shaft and then freezing if you're fishing in cold weather. So WD-40 actually stands for water displacement, formula 40. So the WD stands for water displacement, and that's exactly what you want to do when it comes to the shaft of your trolling motor, is you want to displace that water so that it doesn't freeze up on you and when you go putting it in and out of the water. Justin, I thought the new Megadeth here I got for Christmas tonight. Uh-oh. Somebody say hi to Liz. Yeah, there she is. I really enjoyed this show. Hey, Liz, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I've tried to put a lot of content in here for everybody, just hoping that, you know, something would stick with a few people and they take some value away from tonight's show. So other than that, in the cold, I like to stock up. So like we was talking about making sinkers in the wintertime when it's cold outside, I'd rather pour sinkers in my garage and get over that hot lead and not worry about sweating. As you go pouring lead in the summertime, and one drop of sweat goes in that lead, that's bad news. It will pop and splash all over the place, and it's dangerous. In the wintertime, you know, do it indoors, because you get a flake of snow or a raindrop hits in there, you're going to get the same results. But don't feel too bad doing it in the garage in the dead of winter. Do what you can to not get wet in the winter. Absolutely. Yep. Getting wet from the inside or the outside. You know, sweating is just as dangerous as taking on rain from the outside. You know, once you sweat and get wet, if you don't have enough wicking material to get that off your body, you're going to be cold in a hurry, and it's going to be very difficult for you to warm up. It's not a good time if it happens. Yeah. Yep. So I think I missed something else. So I've seen Real Beast, man. You've been out everywhere here lately. You've been fishing all over. I ain't been able to catch a whole lot of live streams. I've been either fishing myself or trying to get, packing. I've got to move, and so I've been packing in my free time here. So it ain't been a whole lot of fun. Let's see. It was different, Justin, I bet. Perfect after 2. Had lead weight explode when we dropped it, and it hit water. Oh yeah. Yep. We dropped it. It hit water. Yeah. Yeah, you cannot get water in there. I was actually melting, making ingots. I got a 20-pound pot that I use, and I was melting old lead pipe. So there was demolition on on these buildings, and they were full of lead pipe, and I was getting all the lead pipe out of it. Well, I would take it and cut it in chunks about yay big, and just drop it down in there. One of them there was some dirt in them. I kind of banged them around to make sure they were hollowed out, and I just kept scooping the dirt off the top. But I put one piece in there that was either clogged and it didn't, you know, the pressure built up and exploded, or it had moisture in there. The dirt was actually mud and there was moisture in it. I dropped it in the thing and it exploded, went clean up. My ceiling of my garage has still got lead on it from how bad it went. It went everywhere. Luckily, I didn't get hit. I got a couple pieces, I think, on my shirt, but it didn't burn me. But I got lead everywhere. And so you got to be very careful when working with that stuff. Or burning fingers on extra hot molds isn't fun at all. I did it tonight, not focusing on the task at hand. It happens quickly. Yep. Yeah, those molds get hot. I don't know how you do it. I've seen. I used to watch. Tackle Bandit. I'm getting his name right. Epic. I kind of seen that coming. Unfortunately, it's not first for a lot of people, but we got to talk about it. So we covered a lot of stuff tonight. We actually had to go through 2 streams to do it because my router restarted on me on my first stream. When I came back, I couldn't get back into that stream because it ended, and I started this one up. So we covered a lot of stuff tonight. We already talked about you earlier. We said we'd much rather be talking catfish with Epic. It's way more fun than talking about fire extinguishers and first aid kits and life jackets and all that stuff. But yeah, sometimes we got to take a step back and make sure we ground ourselves and think about safety. Epic John Parker would be a one. Epic John Parker would like a 1v1 with you. What? Why in the world would John Parker want to challenge Tim Scott? We'd all watch. There's no doubt about it. We'd all watch. But anyway, Epic, I went and bought hooks today. There you go. So you guys must have been talking about some hooks and favorite brands. There's a lot of different styles out there. Call me up real Tim, I can't because I went live through YouTube Studio and it doesn't you can't have a guest on here. I never would have done it on here if I knew that. I'd love to have you up on here. But I didn't realize that StreamYard or YouTube Studio, going through this YouTube app, going through the YouTube itself, doesn't allow you to have guests. I can't bring guests up. I can't bring show comments up on the screen. It's kind of useless. You race to 1,000 subs, and yeah, you get monetized and stuff. And it honestly, it only you make almost nothing off your videos unless you've got hundreds of thousands of views. I've got a couple of videos I made 18 cents on. All my support comes from super chats and super stickers and folks that find the material valuable and are in a position that they can do that. But not everybody can. I'll be honest. I've been in a position. If I gave $5 away, it'd be like giving away $1,000. It's just in the situation I'm in right now. But yeah, you get to 1,000, you think, I'm going to stream through YouTube because that's the way you should be. I don't want to use StreamYard. That's what I have to do. And now I'm using it. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. StreamYard's way better. I don't know if my picture quality is any better. From on my end, it doesn't look any different. There we go. Tim Scott says, if anyone wants to challenge me, there will be a severe bet loss involved. There you go. Got to make it worth it. I don't know, Tim. You're gonna go fishing anyway. When are you getting back out again? We could use some cold weather tactics and advice. Figure out what are these fish thinking right now this time of year. Still, if I had to get it $1 for fishing equipment, if I get $1 for fishing equipment, I'll count it. Yeah, absolutely, Pat. Yeah, and I don't like to talk about the money or the super chats and stuff a whole lot. I try not to, it's not for the lack of appreciation. I try not to make a big deal about it. When I get super chats, they are all, I don't care if it's $1 or $20 or whatever it is. They're all very, very important, but I don't want to be one of the guys that, expect, people work hard for the money. And, if they're in a position to do it, fantastic, great. But I don't ever want anyone to feel like it's necessary or I expect it or want it or need it. It's, it's entirely up to the individual. That's why I don't spend much, if any, time talking about it. I try not to stay on the subject because, it is what it is. Skip, I've never had it happen, but almost got pulled out of the boat in high current. Holy cow. Yeah, that's not good. It can happen though. I think somewhere I had it written down. I must have skipped over it, but one of the safety tips I had written down was keep a knife on your body. A lot of us talk, and I do the same thing. My boat has a knife at the back, which is usually the fillet knife or whatever, the bait knife. That Bubba blade is going to cut through whatever you want it to cut through. Let me tell you. My Bubba blade is like over a year old, and I don't know how many fish it's cut through. Big and small, I cut them all. And just trying to get different cuts of bait. I experiment a lot, especially in the wintertime. I'll throw fillets out, heads, big strips, small strips. I'll I'll cut fillets off and turn them back to back. You know, I'll do all kinds of stuff with my bait to try to entice a bite. And, you know, we had like anywhere from 5 to 10 inch shad yesterday. And, you know, I was taking 5. I can fillet a 3 and a 4 inch shad with my Bubba knife. And the blade's, you know, 11 inches long. And I can fillet a shad, you know, 3 or 4 inches long. And those blades are unreal. They're stupid good. But anyway, they keep the knife at the back. I also keep a knife at the very front of the boat. But keeping a knife on your body it would be way more valuable. You know, we talked about someone almost getting pulled in there, Brad. You know, if you get an anchor rope wrapped around you and you're throwing the anchor rope out and you're coming back, you know, below the dam when it's, you know, fast current and rowdy, you get jerked out of that boat quick. You ain't got time to grab that knife. Whereas if you keep a knife on your body, you know, whether it's on your belt or, you know, lanyard, you know, a lot of people have seen it done lots of different ways, you know, hooking it on your life jacket, you know, have that knife with you and make sure it's a good knife. And you can carry it with you and get yourself out of a bad situation. You know, hopefully that would never happen. But, you know, that's kind of like what tonight's show is. These are, you know, safety's something we all take for granted most of the time until something bad happens. And then that's when you got to decide if you're prepared or not. And being prepared for a bad situation could mean a life or death for you or, you know, somebody else on the boat. If you don't have the equipment or don't have the understanding or the know-how to handle the situation, you know, I would recommend, you know, knowing, you know, the first aid kit, you know, cleaning and process, you know, taking care of a wound, taking care of a burn, you know, all those things require a different type of treatment. And I need to brush up on it myself. But, you know, taking care of somebody and taking care of somebody else on the boat, whether it be CPR or whatever it might be, you know, 9 times out of 10, you're not taking anybody out on the boat that you're not friends with or, you know, don't at least have some kind of mutual understanding or friendship for. And so, you know, if you're in a position to help that person out and possibly save their life, then I would hope the person was able to do it for me. I carry 2. Hey, Jesse, what's going on, buddy? Carry 2 blades on me at all times. And that sounds like a great idea. I'm just hacking, fellas. Above all else, no, anyone can be a winner. But yes, I am betting on me every time and 7 times on Sunday. But half of the time, I'll be wrong. Well, if I was a betting man, I'd bet on Tim Scott too. So don't feel bad. Even if it was me against him. And, you know, a lot of it has to do with your water. You know, you could take some great fishermen and put them in some waters that are tough, and you know they're never going to get the spotlight or the recognition of their skills based on their water. You know, any one of us, we've all seen these 1v1s or any of these tournament style events go down. And somebody just have a great day, or somebody that you really thought was going to win the whole thing, just, you know, have an off day, or the fish just wouldn't cooperate. Somebody else takes home the win. Roger, we go fishing. I missed it. Me and Jason will get 12 to 14 inch shad for the river. Brad, that's a deal. I would have been wanting to go fishing with you guys anyway. You just tell me when. You let me know when you guys want to go, and we will go. I'd love to see that live scope in action. I don't know if you guys use it for helping with bait. I doubt it's very useful on the river. But I could be wrong. I'm super intrigued at having one just because of all the information I hear about fish behavior, things that we thought we knew about fish that we were wrong about. I hear a lot of this from crappie guys just because that's where, you know, most of the live scope, you know, besides bass fishing. But I hear, you know, I follow crappie some too. And, you know, just things like in the summertime, you know, guys say they pull up on a brush pile and the fish will leave the brush pile and come underneath their boat because there's shade. And without a live scope, you would never thought that. They'd still be sitting there banging the brush pile looking for fish. And they said they watched the fish move all the way out and come underneath the boat. But they also said if you drop something in that boat, you make a noise, they will poof, they're gone. They'll come back, but they will scatter immediately. So, because the fish is the ultimate chooser of what's right and what's wrong. Yep. It's all down to being close to what the fish want day in and day out, not what I want. Yeah, 100%, you know, that's it. You know, you gotta, you can put the odds in your favor by, you know, putting yourself at the right place at the right time, having fresh bait. But in the end, you know, it's up to the fish whether they're going to commit to bite or what they want to eat, or if they want to eat. You know, it's there's a science to it, and Epic knows better than on the science side than any of us. And we can all hope to learn half of this stuff over time, why they do and why they don't bite. Yesterday, everything I saw. Thanks, Epic. Appreciate that, brother. I really do. It means a lot. Like yesterday, you know, all signs pointed thumbs up for the day. We had some rising water. We had the barometer was in good. The creeks and stuff were in good shape. We marked fish, set up on the fish, precision anchored and cast to the fish. Fish would bite. You know, even if half the fish I marked were wrong species, fishing for however long we fished yesterday, 12, 14 hours. I don't know how long we went. You know, you could be wrong and still catch a fish. We caught one fish. Great for bait, but narrow beam with side scan and live scope is great. Great for bait, a narrow beam with side scan and live scope is great. Yeah, side scan is by far my favorite function. You know, the 2D imaging and the down imaging does help a lot, but in reality, in my area, I'm only fishing 30, 40 foot of water most of the time. And so with that being said, I'm only looking at a third of that underneath my boat. So I'm looking at 10 feet wide. And so that's not a whole lot of information for me to decide whether or not I'm going to fish that area. That side scan showed me out to the sides. You know, as far as I can see, typically I only go 70 to 100 feet. And, you know, it depends on my depth. But thank you, Tom, for taking care of that. That was fast. I didn't even see it. Appreciate that, buddy. You know, I look at the side scan, and that's pretty much how I decide where I'm going to fish. You know, sometimes we mark fish off to the sides, and we can check them out and set up on them and go from there. But side scan to me, hands down, is more valuable than the 2D and down imaging. 9 times out of 10. Roger, we found them in 10 to 20 foot of water on wood. Are you talking about the bait or are you talking about fish? We were fishing wood yesterday. Man, I marked a lot of big wood piles. We got up in the Licking River and, you know, there's nothing but wood all the way down through there. You know, we struggle with snags quite a bit. That's actually how the Uncle Lou's rod come flying out the back of the boat. It was snagged on some wood and it was in the rod holder. And, Jeno went to pull the anchor in as he pulled the boat forward and the rod bent over the back of the boat. And guys, I'll tell you, don't do whatever you have to not buy the Walmart rod holders. You know, the metal ones, the 3/8. They always, all of them seem to break right there where the main stem comes up and connects. They break right there. Almost everyone I've seen breaks right there. And, you know, we got lucky and got that rod back. But we had another one break and almost lose a rod in the past. And I've seen it on other people's boats. If you can help from buying those, man, do whatever you got to do to hold out and get a good quality one. You know, there's 100 name brands out there. So you can choose whichever one suits you best. Or maybe it's the color that's important to you, or maybe it's the manufacturer that's important to you. You know, me, I'm really loving my Smackdown rod holders. What I really like about them is that instead of forks being in the boat like this and my net, you know, go to net a fish and getting caught on it, or there's a lot of things, those rubberized tips seem to get caught on. But on Smackdown rod holders, those are pointed down. And so it's very a smooth surface up top. And I don't get hung up and get caught up on things nearly as much as I used to when I had the Monster rod holders. I actually sold all my Monster rod holders off and got Smackdown rod holders. And it's just personal preference. I have my own personal reasons for doing that. But, you know, hold out for a quality one if you can. I know it's easy and it's tempting to buy the cheap ones because you need them and you can get more of them and all that, but they're not cheaper when you lose rods in the water. You know, your rod and reel goes in the water, it's gone. You know, unfortunately I've lost a few over the time. They were not due to rod holders. They were due to me. I dropped a couple in the water, and I think I got one just got jerked out the boat. Just a strange coincidence of events that happened. I didn't have it in the rod holder quite right. There was the bimini top was laid down, and it kind of got in the way. Instead of it being in the down position, I wanted it to be in the 45-degree position. So I stuck the butt of it up on that arm, and it didn't allow it to really set down in there right. I had a fish hit it so hard it like jerked it, and then he hit it again, and it just popped right out and went right in the water. Gone. Split second. One hit and just hit like lightning. Second hit, gone. Cool, Tim. I would love to see you make and lose a Jody bet. Oh, no. No, she didn't. Tim, you might want, you got to be careful with her. She's dangerous. I'll leave that alone. I bow in the presence of catfishing knowledge, which you all have. Well, Tim, we are very fortunate to be on a platform that allows us to share this knowledge and to be with so many like-minded people that love to share. You know, like yourself, you've dedicated years and years, decades to schooling and education and experience on the water, and you give it away for nothing. You know, so many of us are like that on here that just genuinely want to help somebody out and, you know, help other people catch fish. Whatever their personal reason is. For me, it's self-gratifying to me to help somebody. But it also helps our odds of preserving and the conservation side of catfish. The more people we get passionate about catfishing. And so how do you get somebody passionate about catfishing? Let them catch some fish, get them on some big fish or get them on numbers of fish, whichever the case may be in the area, but get people on fish and make them more excited about catfishing. And the more people that are excited about catfish, the better our odds are in improving the conservation and making sure there's catfish, you know, for us to fish for later in our lives and our grandkids' lives or whoever coming down the road after us. Save some for them. Michelle says, common knowledge, when Epic speaks, chat goes silent. Yeah, I hate that I opened this up under YouTube Studio now. I know we've gone in, we're at 10 o'clock for the night, and it reminds me of our old school chats where this might go till 11, 12 o'clock. You know, when we get Stan and Epic up in here and just go to town and dive right in. You know, I remember many nights of all of us Creole catfishing get in here, and we just hammer out information and you know, ask questions. And Tim is not only full of knowledge, but he also has a great method of teaching. I witnessed on panel. I wasn't on panel that night, but you know, Tim went through each of the people on panel and asked a series of questions of why they did what they did. Like, for instance, he used one for like your favorite bait in the springtime, and why is that your favorite bait? And just kind of he's asking people questions, but he's really teaching in a different manner. And I thought it was really cool and very well thought out. Roger, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are 100% right. I don't know which part you're talking about, but I'll just assume all of it's 100% right. How's that? Hop on StreamYard. Is that what that says? Hop on StreamYard? Hope on StreamYard? Hop, not hope. Okay, I got you. Of course, we all know this epic. I probably won't hop on StreamYard tonight. We're at 10 o'clock already, and I've got some stuff I got to get done and some stuff I got to get up and take care of in the morning. So I know me, if I get on here and I get Epic in here, this could be 2 o'clock in the morning chat. And I can't handle it right now. Actually, I've got major pain in the back of my neck. I actually had a fall today that jacked my neck up really bad. I don't know if you noticed, I've been sitting kind of weird and moving kind of weird. My neck is pretty sore. But anyway, I don't fish, and even I listen to Tim. Michelle. Yeah, it's fascinating, man. Absolutely fascinating. The science behind things. I love the whys. Say, hey, fish ledges and fish ledges. Okay, I can find a ledge and I can fish it, but why? Why do I need to fish a ledge? What makes the ledge so desirable? Why is that situation attractive to fish? And learning the whys is so good. Is more important. Just like people, you do good. Somebody does good in a body of water. Don't ask them where their spot was. They don't want to tell you that. Ask them other questions like, hey, how deep was you catching fish today? Were they on wood, or were they on rocks? Were they in holes, or were they on flats? Asking the whys is what's going to make you a better fisherman. They can tell you the spot, and you can go to the spot, and maybe you catch a fish. But what if you don't? You have no backup plan. You have no knowledge to make another decision. You get knowledge, you find out the whys, and now the whole river is fair game to you because you've got knowledge, and you can, if that didn't work, you can got plan B and a plan C and D and all the way down the alphabet until, you just keep trying. That's what we did yesterday. We kept trying different things. We tried swift water up at the dam. We tried deeper, calmer holes down below. We tried shallower water. We tried deeper water. Then we went and tried creek mouths. We tried in the creek. We fished a lot of different things, and we found fish that just wasn't happening. Mike's fishing home. Sorry. Yeah. I've got a health condition that jacks me up sometimes. So I had a bad fall today, and I'm pretty sore. Roger is a benefactor to the proficiency and the value promotion of the catfishing and the promotion on a valued percentage of the monster hunting productivity that some of us has, and it trickles down to. Yeah, that's a mouthful, but 100%. The more people that get passionate, and the more people that care about the sport, and care about the species, the better it's going to survive. You turn on the television. I don't know what's going on right now, but they're nothing but save the dogs and save the polar bears, and they're so cute and all this. Well, they are, but at the same time, a catfish is in the water. It's just out of sight, out of mind. And to most people, it's not a beautiful fish. And to those of us that chase them, and we find them to be glorious. And but to the most of the society, they do not. And there's all these cute campaigns saving a polar bear and saving the puppies, and not saying that they aren't deserving, but more people that fell in love in the sport of catfishing and cared about them, the better the odds to get them saved and get some rules and regulations in place to help protect them. So there was no fish in deep water Sunday, not even in passing. I told Chad to tie us up Sunday, and he wouldn't. Well, you gotta have a lot of tools in your box so that you can make moves and make decisions and try things that, sometimes you got to try things that you never tried before, and they may turn out to be the very most effective thing for that day. Flatheads are pretty sometimes. Yeah, real beast, flatheads are always awesome. I am truly amazed at how many different color patterns and how many different designs and how unique those fish can be, like a snowflake. I see them like a snowflake. I find them beautiful. They're so ugly, they're pretty. Pontoon Jody says, much love and respect to Epic. I feel that's from the heart and from many of us here in the YouTube world. Truly value Tim's opinions, thoughts, and expressions when it comes to the sport, and it comes to the community, and it comes to the species. Tim's a good role model. Mike's Fishing Home says, see, Roger agreed. I'm not sure what I agreed to. I might have missed something there. But if Mike's Fishing Home said it, it's probably worth consideration. Mark's still hanging out with us, says flatheads are my jam. We know he likes to catch them, and he's gotten good at catching them. He's got some nice flatheads out there. He's not in an area that produces blue cats. So channel cats and flatheads is what he's got to fish for. Hopefully you get to either down here somewhere. We can help you, put you on some nice blue cats, or you travel to an area that has got some pigs in it and put you on some flatheads. I mean blue cats. I apologize. Chad was fishing separate from us, and we were catching fish. Yeah, that happens a lot. That happens even in the same boat. I fish with Zach, and his side of the boat will be on fire, and I'll be sitting there twiddling thumbs. I don't get it. I do get it. It depends on what side of the river we're fishing on. If he's fishing the channel edge side and we start swing rod, we've heard us say it before. Tim's talked about it before as well. Swing rod is one of our favorite techniques. Throwing it straight out the side and letting the current pull it down river, and a lot of times it'll wash up against a ledge, which is where fish are going to hang out or travel, or drop down in a hole, which also could be potential for fish to be holding. But it seems like you throw that swing rod out and just kind of let it sweep back, and eventually it locks into something. If something holds it up, and that's the rod that catches the most fish, to be honest with you. 9 times out of 10. There's days when we've thrown one rod out, caught a fish, brought it in, threw the same rod out, and it caught another fish, and threw this, one rod. We've got 12 rods out on the boat, but only one rod catches fish, and it's crazy. They're like pugs, so ugly that they're cute. There you go. There you go. I typed what you said about flatheads right before you said it. Oh, I got you, buddy. Hey, Tim, did you get anything worked out with the cat cutouts for your seminar props? Yeah, those props were awesome. And like life size. Epic size. How's that? I like the catfish, but steelhead and brown trout are beautiful. Oh yeah, there's some all kinds of beautiful species of fish out there. Just turns out that catfish is the one that I enjoy fishing for the most. Those of us who revel in the possibility of a monster on the end of the line cast off all else. We focus at the heartfelt hunt and find what? Find being in the journey, because that's what counts, bar none. Yeah, absolutely. Putting yourself in position. Oh, Mike's Fishing Home dropped $5. I missed you on Christmas, so here's your stocking stuffer. Hey, thanks, brother. I appreciate the super chat. I do. But yeah, the possibility of latching into a monster. When I'm fishing waters that just don't hold big fish, I have an empty feeling inside. Beauty. Okay. I thought, hey, you used some big words, man. I just assumed that I was illiterate right there. I thought, what word is that? All right. And hunt and find beauty in the journey, because that's what counts, bar none. Yeah. Yeah. Being out there and doing all the things, like yesterday, I was fishing with people that truly enjoy the sport and are so like-minded, and just got to hang out and cut up. We caught one fish all day and all night, and we had a fantastic time. Hanging out. Pontoon Jody is just as pleasant and great as a person in person as she is on here. And in my experience, almost most of the people you see through YouTube are that way. They're genuinely the way that you see them. There's always going to be folks that are very good at hiding and being deceitful about who they really are or what their intentions are. Or they're just turds, and you're going to have that no matter where you go. But hanging out with Tara, Jody, and J-Dog yesterday, and their son Mason, man, I had a blast. I had a good time. Brad says, good night, everyone. Great show, Roger. Brad, thanks, buddy. Hit the sack. I think I'm going to get ready to get out of here myself. I need to get some ibuprofen or something. My neck is cranking pretty hard right now. So, yes, we finally invite Mark. It will be there in 8 hours. Don't you dare go without me, Jody. Uh-oh. Sounds like Jody and Brenda, Catfish and Cost, is made a great team. There was a good duo last week on their show. I think Jody is going to be live this Thursday night, and she is heading up to fish with Tom. Looks like they're going to be hitting the dock, and she's going to spend a couple of days up there with them, so that I'm sure there's going to be some good content coming out from not only Tom and Jody tomorrow night on their, I think it's their 10 o'clock show, but then again, 10 o'clock Thursday night will be Jody's show, and I believe she plans on fishing. Because you're getting ditched. Yeah, Jody says exactly how she feels. You don't have to worry about whether she meant what she said. She said what she meant. She just tells, she's very straightforward, and I like that. Sorry, it's been a bit zen, and I really am impressed with you all, man. Tim, that means a lot. I know from me, I'm sure other folks in chat will agree that a lot of people, including myself, look up to you as far as an icon in the sport. Somebody's been in it for a long time, has got a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of heart and dedication poured into this. And to be recognized and to be given any credit, it means a lot. I truly do appreciate it. We could sit here and watch the ice form, Jody. Mark, ain't a whole lot of people are excited about that ice. I know you have to be, because that's how you have to fish. And so if you want to fish, you just got to deal with it. Hope the neck feels better and more. Thanks, Tom. It's past time. I'm looking at the camera and realize I'm sitting weird. I'm trying to sit right. But guys, we're going to head out of here. We're going to shut her down. Man, it's almost 10:30. It's been a great night. I appreciate you guys all sticking around and hanging out, talking about safety, talking about fishing, and talking about company and the that we keep. So thank you guys all so much for being here. And we'll be here next week, and we'll do it again. So until next time, the same cat channel. I messed that up right off the bat. I meant to say, see you next Tuesday night. Same cat channel, same cat time. Good night, y'all. Where's the end button? Oh, I found it.